Well, it's email time. We want to answer some of the questions you've sent in. And Pat, this first one comes from Robert, who says, how should we handle people from cults coming to the door to witness? Should we let them in to show them their doctrinal errors or refuse their entry?
You know, it depends on the person. I can't give a blanket statement on this, but it depends on you, because they may be smarter than you and more gifted than you, and they might wind up swinging you to their side. I wouldn't let them in, but it depends on if you think you're all that good. I've dealt with these people and showed them in the Bible how they're wrong and so forth, but most of them are pretty fanatical. But depends on the individual. You say, hey, should I? Well, I don't know you. I don't know the people coming to your door. But
yeah. The Holy Spirit usually leads you in things like that, don't you think?
But as a blanket rule, I'd shut the door.
Yeah.
Because the average person, they are trained in this cult philosophy, and you're not.
Yeah.
So if you go up against, it's like saying, should I get in the ring with you know, Mike Tyson or somebody? Yeah. The answer is no. He'll knock your head off. So, I mean, you know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, this is Danny, who says, Pat, I recently discovered the owners of my gym are agnostic. We were discussing kindergarten for their children when the mother said she didn't want them to go to any Christian-affiliated school. The parents are about half my age and very liberal-minded. I'm torn between leaving the gym or staying to witness, which I believe would fall on deaf ears. What should I do?
You know, you ought to asking me questions that only God can show you. Yeah. Should you leave the gym? You know, the truth is, the Apostle Paul said, if we're not going to company with fornicators and drunkards and liars and cheats, we'd have to leave the world.
Yeah.
So you're gonna encounter people all the time who don't believe as you believe. Question, is it a good gym? But are they out proselytizing? Are they coming after you to try to sway your faith? And is it a pain in the neck? I mean, if I'm got a big stack of weights and I'm pushing it, I want somebody to tell me about him being an agnostic. I mean, give me a break. I'm in the gym to work out. Yeah. So if he's laying that stuff on you, forget it. Go to someplace else that'll leave you alone.
But on the other hand, you know, and I know you would agree with this, that if you have an opportunity to be a quiet, gentle witness for Christ in the midst of it, go for it. Go
for it, exactly. It just depends, again, on the circumstances, the person, what it is. But you don't have to sit around and listen to that stuff if they're preaching this agnosticism at you all day long.
I don't think they are, though, because he sounded surprised that in this conversation about the school that this even came up. But I love the fact that you encourage us to stay, because, you know, how would people know truth if we all walked away from everybody who differed from us?
You can't do it. You have to company with people who are in the world who have a different lifestyle. All right.
This is Michelle, Pat, who says, is it the church's responsibility to observe communion and baptism? I've never heard of this, Pat. She says, my pastor and his wife partake of communion in church, but not the congregation. We're told we can take communion at our homes. Also, there's no place for a new convert to be baptized. I thought I was led here by the Holy Spirit. Now I'm not sure. Please help.
I don't think the Holy Spirit led you. That sounds like a cult or something.
It's strange.
We get questions that's so weird. You think, what is going on in these churches? This is weird. Of course you have communion in the church.
I mean, the whole purpose of that is that we
together.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly.
We meet together to share the Lord's Supper when we are together. Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. And yes, the baptism, I mean, being a Baptist, we have a baptistry is the center part of the church. No, go get baptized in your bathtub and forget the church. Go someplace else. Life's too short.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Joyce, who says, how do we know which Old Testament promises and laws are for Christians and which are solely for the Jews?
You know, Jesus made this statement. It said, you know, until all things are fulfilled, not one jot or tittle. You know, the little yod is a little jot, a little tittle in the Hebrew. Not any of that will be removed from the law till all is fulfilled. Now, some of these things were fulfilled. The dietary laws were fulfilled and so forth. But the moral law, the law about loving God and honoring your parents and not stealing and killing and lying and so forth, that's all part of the fundamental law of God for all people. So how do you know? I mean, if it dealt with, you know, eating oysters or something, I think the Lord made,
Gave us freedom.
got us freedom in terms of dietary restrictions. But the Lord, the Holy Spirit will show you. All right.
Okay, this is Kayla who says, who created diseases? Was it God or was it Satan?
Neither one. I think it was us. I think it's the world we live in. It's subject to decay. There's something called entropy. That sounds like something important, entropy. It means things are sophisticated systems, highly developed systems tend to run down. And we had a perfect world. There was no disease and no sickness as long as we were in the presence of God. We lose the presence of God and entropy takes hold and diseases start. Who created them? They're in the nature of the universe as it decays.